My name is Pam Bransford, Public Relations Coordinator with the City of Boerne. Been on site a little over 24 hours here in Boerne, and I wanted to provide some updates today on what has been happening with the investigation, and also just some basic things for the residents here that are watching the news and other listeners who have natural gas services in their homes. But first of all, the State Fire Marshal's Office and the local fire marshal have been at the home. What they've been doing, number one, they've been going through and finding all of the utility wiring and pipes, and they use a colorful tie strap to mark each of them. They'll use red for electric, blue for water, green for wastewater, and then purple if they're not real sure, in this case particularly since the home was practically destroyed, if they're not real sure what it is, they'll use a purple tie strap. So once they get as many of those marked, they try to clear out as much of the debris, the furnishings, all of the homeowners' possessions that remain. They get those out on the driveway and clear out everything so that then they can begin searching for clues, similar to a police investigation, where they look for fingerprints and so on and so forth. And so today's been mostly cleanup and identifying the parts in the home that they need to look at, the wiring and the piping and so forth, particularly, of course, the natural gas piping. And they're following very specific protocols. Now, the natural gas system on the outside of the meter, beyond the property line, our city crews, the Boerne City of Boerne Utilities crews, are still following their protocols and doing what they need to do to make sure everybody else on the system here in the trails of Herff Ranch are not having any problems. Because the last thing we want is for any more problems to occur. All right? So does anybody have any questions about that?
So have residents been urged to not turn on any gas or anything like that, or just tell us about that protocol?
No, the gas system is safely functioning. The homeowners that are actually on the street that was closed yesterday, our crews went in and individually lit their pilot lights once the gas was activated again, so we know all those homes are safe. And homeowners that are within the rest of the subdivision, there's about 600 homes here, they are more than welcome and have been, in fact, calling our customer service office to request that our city crews come out and inspect, again, the piping that is on the city infrastructure which leads up to the meter. Now, the piping that comes from the meter, which is in the ground, basically in the front yard, up to the house, is the private piping. And folks that are concerned and haven't had a recent safety inspection on that private piping, they need to call to somebody, a plumber or a heating contractor or someone to come in and do those safety inspections. They're very important because that's where problems can occur. They can occur on either side, but if you've got a problem on the homeowner side, it needs to be inspected. We don't have the authority to go onto private property and do that. So we're encouraging people, if they have a concern, to contact either their local air conditioning and heating service provider that they use regularly or a plumber, and have those people come out and inspect their systems.
But at this point, do we know what the problem was with this house?
We do not know what the problem is with this house yet. I talked with the fire marshal just 15 minutes ago, and he said because of the extent of the damage at this two-story home, it's taking longer than they expected to clear out the debris, identify the piping. They hope to have something tomorrow, but it may not be until Friday before they know the exact cause, and that's their goal, is to pinpoint the exact cause.
Were you able to confirm those reports that we heard earlier about a neighbor hearing the hissing and maybe having gone in and even tried to alert Mr. Kenny?
I did confirm that the neighbor was the one who noticed the hissing and notified that neighbor. And as Mr. Kenny was preparing to come out of the house and leave the home, he just didn't make it. The explosion occurred. So our fire marshal and city crews and so forth that are in the home now are doing what we kind of call an archaeological investigation, and then as soon as we have something, we will certainly let you know about that. A couple of other topics. We have 1,600 natural gas customers in Boerne that our utility provides services to. We've never had a situation like this before, and hopefully never again. All of the homes here in the Trails of Herff Ranch are on gas services. This subdivision was built by KB Homes.
About how long ago? 10
About 10 years ago. I was told today that particular home at 213 Horse Hill was built in '08. The fire marshal and the fire chief have estimated the value of that home at about $200,000. They weren't sure about the total damage estimate for the other 2 homes, and so the homeowners insurance companies, I'm sure, will come out and do their assessments and so forth. I wanted to comment quickly, and most of you know this already, that Boerne, once again, this community has come forward with all kinds of support for these families. We understand they're being taken care of by family, by Red Cross, by several organizations. Lots of funds are coming in on different websites. Fundraiser this Saturday, and so it's just one of these things that happens in Boerne and many other communities, of course, where people just rally around these unfortunate situations and help the people that need the help.
What is the latest about Mr. King? Do we know what his condition is, and what more can you tell us about him?
The only thing that I have heard, Jesse, is that his condition has been upgraded some. I guess they've done their evaluations of him, and it's not as severe as reported yesterday, but that's all I know.
But is it still technically still critical, or do we know?
I do not know that.
Oh.
He is at the San Antonio Military Medical Center. I understand they are providing updated information, so check there.
I spoke to a family spokesperson earlier today, and he was sounding more hopeful. Certainly he said the family is more hopeful and that they are more in terms of recovery and rehabilitation and continued prayers, certainly, but at least, you know, they're hoping that that is hopefully a good sign.
No doubt.
And also that they were told that actually he was burned only over 50% of his body as opposed to 80%.
I did hear that today as well, yes.
You can confirm that as well?
Well, I have not talked to anybody at the medical center, so no, I cannot confirm it. I've just heard that.
I see.
Do we know where the neighbor was that heard the hissing? Was he in his home? Was he in his backyard? Or I'm just curious how loud this hissing was.
And where did he hear the hissing? From the gas meter or where?
My understanding is that he heard it at the unit that's right up against the house, because in this neighborhood and many others these days, the houses are so close together. So he would have heard that hissing at the unit that brings the piping into the house.
Into which house? Into the Kenny house?
To the Kenny house, the one that exploded. Right. Now I don't know if he was just going out to his driveway. I don't know the details there. I think evidently there are some eyewitnesses that were out and about at the time, and so.
Because I'm sure one question will be how is it possible that this should occur in such a beautiful new, relatively new subdivision?
Absolutely, and we're all eager to get the answer to that, especially the people that live here, because nobody else wants this to happen. We have a top-rated gas system, the City of Boerne Utilities. We've gotten the highest marks for the last 4 years in a row, 100% scores. We've never had an issue like this. Hope to never again. It's just an unfortunate incident, and we do hope that Scott Kenny will be okay and that his family and everybody will be able to get their lives back in order. And as soon as we have more information, we will definitely provide it. As I mentioned yesterday, I'll post things on Facebook, City of Boerne, City Hall, the minute I hear anything.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank y'all for coming out here again today.
Yes, certainly.